Hello everybody, and welcome to Sure Shot Archery. Anthony here, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you my hands-on experience shooting the Hoyt Formula X with the Velos limbs, the Formula Velos limbs. Now, in this video I'm going to talk about my experience with it. I'm going to try to go through some of the characteristics of the bow, the personality of it. I'm going to try to do my best to explain that, because this bow does have its own personality. I find that a lot of these high-end bows actually each have personality to them, and I'm going to do my best in this video to try to explain that and explain my own individual experience with this riser and limbs. So let's get into it. I do want to throw it in there real quick. I was not paid or sponsored or anything at any point in time for making this video. This is, solely my experience, and yeah, there was no financial transactions made. I made nothing off of this. Unless this video gets monetized, then I'll make 50 cents. But with that, let's get into the important part. What's going on with this bow? Today I actually get to try out the brand new Hoyt Formula X with the Hoyt Velos limbs. The limbs I'm shooting here are wood core. They're medium limbs and they're 36 pounds. Now I normally shoot 46-pound longs, so not quite the same, but still not bad. Of course, we're going for the 25-inch riser. Hoyt actually let me put on all of my own gear, so besides a couple things. They supplied the arrow rest, but I brought my own plunger, my own clicker, my own sight and sight mount. I also brought the usual top weight I shoot on my other bow. I also brought my full shrewd stabilizer Revel setup, and the usual weight I shoot with that. So now I'm going to go knock an arrow, and I'm going to go and shoot my first shot through this bow here. So I'm really excited because I really wanted to do this back at the ATA show. All right. All right. It does have a nice smooth feel all the way, back through the draw. Very similar to my Veracity limbs on my MK X10 riser. So that's a nice thing. I really like that feel and that draw in a bow. So I see Hoyt is very similar to that. All right, so with my first shot done, the first major noticeable point about this bow was the change in the limbs. Hoyt has definitely put in a lot of research and development into their limbs. They were actually very similar to my MK Veracity limbs. So the only snarky comment of this video is, congratulations, Hoyt users. You now know what I have been experiencing with my MK Veracity limbs for the last several years now. And with that, that is actually a really nice surprise, and it's something that I couldn't feel when I checked out this riser and limb setup at the ATA show. Yeah, I could pull it back, but it wasn't the same. There was no stabilizer, sight, all of that. And it just wasn't it was a fine experience, but actually shooting this bow, it was a lot better experience. So big thing right out of the gate was definitely the feel of the limbs. They felt smooth all the way through the draw and through the shot, and they reacted really well to my shot. And this was very similar to the same kind of shot and reaction I get when I shoot my MK Veracity limb. So that was really interesting, and it surprised me, and I'm really happy about that, because I think that limb setup, that limb dynamic is really nice, and it seems like international shooters really like it as well. The bow itself, it does like to jump forward. It does like to push forward. Not as aggressive as or as strong as some other bows that I have shot, but it's not bad overall. The funny thing is that back when I did my first video, just looking at this riser, I was really wasn't really a big fan of the grip. Again, I couldn't draw back the bow and actually shoot it. The one thing about this is, even though it isn't wood and stuff like that, the texture on it, when you're when you have the bow drawn back and there's actually pressure on your hand, you can actually feel like there's a tackiness to it, and it really gets the bow sticking into your hand and staying in place. So that's a really interesting addition for this grip. I don't know how well though, like putty and stuff's gonna stick to it. I would assume that you could get away with adjusting it with putty, but I am not sure. Of course, I would add some to the top because that's where I like to make the adjustments to my grips. Let's shoot another arrow here and see what else. All right, so now I want to get into two things that we just covered there, the reaction of the bow when shot and the grip. So how the bow reacted, it was a nice, I wouldn't say it was a mild reaction. It wasn't ultra aggressive, but at the same point in time, it was not sluggish by any means. It was somewhere right in the middle, which was pretty nice. It still wasn't like waiting there for your command to shoot. You could definitely feel a little bit of desire from the bow to shoot those arrows. It wasn't just like sitting there back at full draw, just waiting for you to release. Because even before the moment of release, you could still feel the tension of it wanting to go. It just wasn't ultra aggressive, which was nice. But at the same point in time, it wasn't too laid back. I think a lot of archers are going to find this to be really well balanced, and they're probably going to be pretty happy with how the bow reacts to their shot. At least in my mind, this is a pretty good combination that even I would be pretty happy with, because it is that nice medium. I'm not a very aggressive shooter myself, so I like a bow that that wants to shoot the arrows, but at the same point in time isn't trying to rip the string out of my hands and like jump away from me at every given moment. So that wasn't too bad at all, and I think that's an aspect of the bow that a lot of people are going to be pretty excited about. So moving on to the grip, this is a very interesting piece of the bow. As I said, I thought it was kind of cheap and cheesy when I went to the ATA show, but at the same point in time, after shooting it, I do like how it kind of sticks to your hand a little bit better with that texture and the material they have on it. At the same time, I was pretty unsure if putty and stuff will stick, and I still don't know that answer. I would hope it would, but again, as some people said, everybody has usually a custom grip they want on their riser to begin with, so they would probably just buy an aftermarket one anyway. But for somebody like me who doesn't want to constantly change grips, I just like to modify the one I have and make it work for me. Having putty, not being able to stick to the grip would be a big deal. Of course, I don't know the answer to that. I would think putty would stick just fine, but I'll have to see if I can find out down the road. Feels pretty good. It reacts pretty well. Balance-wise, I don't quite notice the larger limbs, pocket sections up here. I don't quite notice the balance difference. Maybe shooting the correct weight and for a longer period of time, I would really notice that. Now I did notice though, if I shoot a really good shot. The bow does really reward you for that. It feels very good. The other shots that are a little more mediocre they're fine, but it definitely doesn't reward you as much for them. Like just the feedback you're getting from the bow, a bit hard to explain, but it definitely feels really good when you shoot a nice solid shot out of this riser and limb setup too. So I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna pull my arrows, and I'll be back to shoot this a little bit more. Now, right there was probably the most interesting experience of shooting this bow, shooting this riser and limbs from Hoyt. The feedback that you got for good shots, or actually not even good shot, like you shoot a great shot, a nice solid shot, the bow just really, everything just seemed to work together so well, and you got a really nice response from it. Interestingly enough, though, a more like mediocre shot that maybe you wouldn't say it's your best shot. It felt fine, but the bow didn't feel like it was rewarding you for it, which could be a good or a bad thing. Maybe it'll help drive you to want to work to shoot more, really great shots, because the bow just kind of like sings. It just responds so well to a really nicely shot arrow. At the same point in time, when you don't shoot really nicely shot arrows, it's kind of like it's almost saying it's a little unthrilled with you. It's like, all right, Archer, nice try. How about another shot? Try better this time. And I don't. It's like I'm kind of up in the air, and I'm kind of up in the air on this. Like, I really like the responsiveness when you shoot a good shot out of it, and that's like a major plus right there. It's just that the mediocreness of the subpar shots and how the bow responds to them, it's kind of like, bleh, all right, Archer, you did okay. Instead of the, yeah, you shot a great shot, Archer, yeah, let's do another one. Like, that's the difference I was feeling with this bow, and I could definitely see this riser and limb setup for, like, especially for top archers. I could see new world records being set with it in like more laid back situations. So like a qualification round. If somebody's like a really good qualification shooter, not that they're necessarily bad at head-to-head eliminations, but like a really good qualification shooter that can just get into their zone and then shoot their shots, I wouldn't be surprised if that archer isn't capable of shooting higher scores with this bow, because it does seem to respond so well to just making good quality shots. At the same point in time, it would be interesting for me to shoot this bow under some pressure and see if it really hurts me by being under pressure and not shooting as clean of shots. Will I pay for that or not? I don't know. It's a very interesting dynamic, and by no means is it like a negative. It definitely has a huge plus side to this bow, and it's really interesting, and something that I have not felt in a Hoyt bow, or for that matter, any other brand of bow. A very it's a very unique aspect of this bow, having such a high there's a reward to shooting great shots, and it's something you feel a lot more on this bow. And not to say that this is the best thing ever, but it is something that is unique, and it'll be interesting to see if there's a way to develop it more. Like if you have a bow that can help you bring out more good shots, then you're going to shoot higher scores, because good shots should be in good groups, and you can move good groups with your sight into the center of the target and then get good scores generally. So it'll be interesting to see if there is a lot more records and stuff set with this riser. I don't know. I'm going to keep my eye out. It's definitely interesting, and we're not quite done the video, but so far this is my favorite formula bow especially favorite bow from Hoyt in quite a long time. The last one definitely being the GMX, and I didn't really have a favorite formula, but I think they finally got a good riser and limb combo, especially the limbs. I'm very happy with the limbs, but let me shoot some more arrows and see what else I have to say.
Overall, it is pretty quiet, like vibration-wise. There's not a lot of like rumbling in the bow. Of course, it would help if I, had this bow longer term. I could definitely dial in the stabilizer setup to it. Again, still, I'm definitely reinforcing. It definitely pays dividends when you make a nice, strong, solid shot. Like that shot felt really great, and that's something that's really nice in a bow. It may feel different, based on the shooter and maybe the shooter's skill level, their experience with shooting, archery. But for me, I definitely like how it responds to shooting a nice shot out of it. Another thing that's very interesting, and it is on other bows, but the grip itself actually goes a little bit wider than the riser. For me, that is actually it's an interesting benefit because my hand normally sits about here on the bow, and I have a spot to kind of just sit my finger in the front. So that is kind of like an added benefit, especially if you shoot with that style of like gripping on your bow, or that style of hand placement on your bow.
All right, as you can see, I'm still stuck a little bit on the feeling of a good shot. It is really unique. Besides that, though, I did move on to another portion, how the grip is fitted into that riser, and how there is a portion of the grip, just a little bit, that does stick out. And like from one hand, you could say, "Oh, that's they can't get their parts to fit up straight." But I feel like it's an intentional thing, because there's a wide enough space that it's like, no, this wasn't like an accident. This was done on purpose. And for me, my hand fits so nice into that. It's got a nice little ledge to sit on. Not that I'm not like applying pressure there based on how my hand sits, but it's just a nice like indexing point to make sure that my bow hand placement on that riser is spot on, so there's no shifting. It's just, I don't know, it was comfortable, and it also let the bow I feel like jump out of my hand a bit cleaner. Another point I want to hit on is the vibration from this bow. It was very modest. I feel like these archery companies that are making aluminum risers are really getting down vibration and how the bow creates it and how it's dispersed. They're really getting it down to a science. For this riser and limbs, it feels like there's no like excess, like no noisy vibration. It all seems to be front and back, and it works really well with how the bow responds, and it doesn't feel messy. Just wanted to throw that in there because some people are probably going to be interested in how the the vibration is. Is it carbon bow level of pretty much no vibration? No, but it's a very clean vibration from this riser, and that was something very nice to see, because some of the ones in the past have been a bit sloppy or all a little chaotic. And I like order in the vibration, because it's something that you can't really control, because it's the materials and the design of the riser that are dictating that. So it seems like they put a lot of work into minimizing that, and I guess organizing how the vibration is going to run through the bow in a particular way, because that didn't happen by accident. that was definitely something that was designed to occur.
Okay. All right. So overall, this is not a bad bow by Hoyt. I definitely didn't mind shooting the Formula X. I liked how it responded to my shooting, and if you do get a chance, definitely try one out. There'll be links in the description to Hoyt's website if you want to learn more about the bow. And other than that, I'm glad they gave me the opportunity to actually test one out here at the Vegas Shoot 2019.
All right, so that was my wrap-up of this riser and limb combo from Hoyt, the Hoyt Formula X with the Velos limbs at the Vegas Shoot. My final points here back at Sure Shot Archery HQ would be I think Hoyt is going in a pretty promising direction with this riser and limb setup. Their limbs are definitely more on par with what I've been experiencing from other brands for several years now. So it's good to see that they've caught up a bit with that. It would be interesting to see if they can really innovate and actually go further with it. Smoother, quicker limbs that that are that medium ground where they're not ultra aggressive, but at the same point in time they don't feel that sluggishness. So I would say the major characteristics of this riser and limb setup would be a smooth drawing bow that shoots quickly and it reacts well to your shot. It's not aggressive. It's definitely more modest, but there's definitely a reaction there. It's also very rewarding when you make good shots. The bow seems to just sing for you with how it responds. So with that, hopefully you enjoyed this look and my experience shooting the Hoyt Formula X with Velos limbs. It was a good time. I'm glad Hoyt actually brought bows to be shot. It was kind of frustrating. I'm not gonna lie that other brands would have bows readily available for anybody to shoot, and Hoyt would not. I just think that was kind of silly. So I'm really glad to see that they stepped up their game. They got serious about their recurve bow. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I'll have maybe more about this bow or other bows for that matter in the future. So with that, please like and subscribe. You can follow me at AnthonyArchery720 on Instagram. And as always, happy shooting.